Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Canadian Football Central, CFL content for the fans, by the fans, and we have our Week 11 review coming right up. Had 4 games this week. A relatively good week for me, a not as good week over for Rick. I went 3-1, Rick, and you...
Listen, I will take a loss in the Pick'ems League. As long as all of the East teams lose, I'm good. So
yeah, because you... First. Yeah, and that's fair, because Ottawa does lose, Toronto loses, and Montreal loses, so it doesn't hurt you too much. No. As you go 2-2 this week, right?
But Carter, I do have a question.
Is that right? Sorry, I just wanted to confirm.
I think so.
Yeah.
How many of you Winnipeg Jets fans sent thank you letters to Sergio Castillo after last week's win?
Winnipeg Blue Bomber fans? You said Winnipeg Jets.
Oh, sorry. I meant Winnipeg Blue Bomber.
How many of us sent a thank you letter to Sergio Castillo? The answer is not enough, because this guy bails us out here. So let's get right into the first game, where the Winnipeg Blue Bombers defeat the Ottawa Red Blacks in what shouldn't have been that close of a game in terms of the way it was going for a while, but became a lot closer. Winnipeg wins 30-27. And if we go through this game, Winnipeg is up 20-3 at half. They had that 17-0 lead, which everyone got scared about, being like, oh no, this is where it all went wrong last time. Ottawa puts up 7 in the third. Winnipeg puts up nothing. Winnipeg gets 10 in the fourth, but gives up 17. Ottawa goes on a tear near the end of this game, trying to get back into it with an injured Drew Brown, as Dustin Crum's trying to get it done. And there are numerous issues, but we'll get to that. So all in all, firstly, defense had a better game, as they gave up 27 points. However, keep in mind, 7 points of that is special teams. That was from the last touchdown. Pimpleton return touchdown, which, oh boy, we'll get into that. So 20 points given up defensively. I'm not too upset about that. I thought the secondary in the first half was actually relatively good. Now, some guys would get injured. I thought there was a good interception by Evan Holm. First quarter, 54-yard field goal for Sergio Castillo. Nice passing touchdown for Jareth Stearns. I thought Zach Caleros looked excellent. Even in because he would end up throwing 2 picks this game. But if you look at the picks he threw, especially that second one, he's throwing that down the field for Dembski. And it ends up in the other guy's hands. I would challenge anyone to say how he could have thrown that ball better. In my opinion, when the ball goes that far, I'm talking about the interception in the fourth quarter, okay, that he throws. He places that perfectly for Dembski. And at that point, it's just a battle between 2 guys for the ball. There's no way that Caleros could have placed that ball any further. So that's an interception I don't hold against him.
To answer your question, you said anyone challenge you? How about not throw the ball that far and throw it like a closer pass and get another?
Because they had to get down the field. And they had to get down quick. And so it was one of those things where they threw the pick, but at that point they needed to rely on the defense to be able to put pressure. And so the star of the game, a lot of people are going to give it to Sergio Castillo, and fair enough. Okay. However, in my opinion, there might be one group that I might give it to it even more than Sergio Castillo. And the defensive line put so much pressure on, and this is where the defensive line was excellent. Not in the sense of their tackles, but the way that they were able to apply pressure to Drew Brown. And Drew Brown was forced into a lot of difficult situations. You see that Drew Brown goes 13 for 21. Do you want to know why that is? It's because he was constantly under pressure. They didn't need to be getting sacks in order to be threatening. Willie Jefferson, James Vaughters, Jake Thomas the Tank Engine himself was a problem for Drew Brown in this game. The defensive line was one of the biggest factors in this game for Winnipeg. And so I think the defensive line gets the first star of the game. Second star goes to Sergio Castillo. And then third star with 128 receiving yards and 6 receptions is Nick Dembski. So, as far as the Bombers
couple
go.
of things. So, first off, I still say you guys don't have a damn running game. Even though Brady Oliveira had 35 yards. And the second thing is, I was actually in the middle of recording a podcast with someone during this game. And he's like, oh, Bombers are going to win this one. I'm like, bud, never count a team out until that clock reaches 00.
Yep.
And I sent him a DM, and I'm like, see, this is why you never count out a
running
team
game running game has struggled a little bit. And I'm not going to lie. This is a bit of a Jason Hogan problem. In the first half, he was okay. He does well with some trickery here and there, like kind of faking the run on first down, maybe throwing a pass into the flats on the side and going upfield and grab 7-8 yards. But it's one of those things he's got to properly use Brady Oliveira. The offensive line needs to do a better job with some of their blocks. They were able to get some on the 10-yard rush for Brady Oliveira. There was a great downfield block by Winnipeg Blue Bombers center Chris Kolinkowski on that play. But they need to do a little bit more. We need to see some pulling guards. We need to see a little bit more spice. You know, Brady Oliveira is a talented running back, but you could take the best running back in the world, and if you don't give him anything to work with, it's not going to do much. I mean, AJ Ouellette, he's a talented running back. He's no Brady Oliveira, but he's very, very good. But here's the thing. He has struggled in some prior years because of a lack of proper run blocking with him. Look at him this year. They're finally getting the Saskatchewan Roughriders are finally getting the proper blocks down, and AJ Ouellette is becoming a really big threat again. And it's because the run blocking of the offensive line and the running back are hand in hand. If you don't have one, the other doesn't matter. And so that's kind of the way that it's been this year. And I hope the Bombers are able to figure that out, as that's an integral part of the offense. It's arguably the most important part of the offense. As Brady Oliveira, we're talking about a guy who is the future of the franchise. This is the guy that if you're Winnipeg, he is Bomber for life. You never let this guy go. And so they gotta do a bit more work getting that going. At the end of the day, the Bombers won. I'm very happy with it. But the sloppy fourth quarter performance, where this game should have been 30-10, but because of their performance and whatnot, they nearly lost it, and they got away with it. They got away with it against Ottawa. You will not get away with that when we're playing Saskatchewan in Labor Day and in the Banjo Bowl. Got one more week, Alouettes, and then it's Labor Day, and so they got to have it figured out by then. Anything else you got on this one, Rick?
Not really.
Not really? Shall we get to the next one?
We shall.
Where the Edmonton Elks, with a 28-20 victory, the Elks win at home. And for the first time in a while, Rick, the Edmonton Elks string 2 wins together. And pretty big win for the Elks. How do you feel about this, Rick?
I can officially say that what Toronto's going through is not a Nick Arbuckle thing.
No. I mean, this whole team was purged of talent in this past offseason. They lost a lot from the offense to the defense, everything. This is not the same team. Chad Kelly comes back, they get better. I don't think it fixes their problems, though.
So we're now in week 11. Your key running back only has 12 receiving yards.
Yeah.
Which followed up by your quarterback getting 11. They're still playing musical chairs to find out who the running back is. I think the whole Kadeem Carey release has now bit them in the ass.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's gone well for him. I think it's hurt them. Although it's funny because this game was a show. Do you know what show it was, Rick?
Sorry, say that again.
This whole game was a show. Do you know what show this was, Rick?
Yeah, the toilet bowl show.
No. This was the Justin Rankin show. Justin Rankin, 13 rushes, 92 rushing yards, 1 touchdown, 7.1 rushing yards on average. Excellent. He leads not just in rushing, but receiving for Edmonton as well. 5 receptions for 87 yards, an average of 17.4 per reception. He had a very good game. Vincent Blanchard goes 4 for 6. He does good enough. He's able to kick a 51. I think Blanchard has done pretty okay with the Edmonton Elks so far, as I think Brett Lothar has the weakest percentage of a kicker in the CFL, which is funny. I saw the proposal of maybe Saskatchewan should try to trade for Liram Hajrullahu, which I will say, if Saskatchewan ever went for that, can't say I blame them. Not that Brett Lothar isn't able to make a decent kick, and there is a reason that he has one of the high. I think he might actually have the highest percentage kicking in Rider history for field goals, but he's kicking at around 66 right now, and his best days are behind him. So if they're going to go on a push, I would understand if they move him. But Edmonton Elks all around played a decent game here. This was a very consistent game from start to finish. There wasn't really one quarter where there was no donuts were put up. In all 4 quarters, both teams were able to score points consistently, but it was the fourth quarter by the Edmonton Elks that really, really got this game where it needed to be for them. As in that quarter, 4-yard passing touchdown for Stephen Dunbar from Cody Fajardo, Blanchard with the PAT. On kickoff, he would grab a single, Blanchard would, 43-yard field goal, and he would miss and grab a single. And then there'd be a 22-yard field goal that Blanchard would make. And so that would get their 12 points in the fourth quarter. Dijon Brissett on the Toronto side of things. Him and Unger both led with 96 receiving yards on 7 receptions for Brissett, only on 4 for Unger the third. No rushing game whatsoever, as we had established. Nick Arbuckle, 42 passing attempts. He would throw for 382 passing yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. So actually a pretty good game by Nick Arbuckle. But again, this shows how he was not the problem here. Liram Hajrullahu goes 4 for 4 and hits the extra point with the longest of a 45-yard field goal. Cody Fajardo on the other side of things, 25 completions for 31 attempts. His completion percentage is excellent. 1 touchdown, 1 interception, so no complaints there, really. Just kind of average there. 273 passing yards. So both quarterbacks putting on a pretty solid performance. And it was just a matter of that the Elks, I think, were able to play a little bit better defense. Dublanco led the Elks with 9 tackles. There was a sack for Jackson, as well as 1 for former Hamilton Tiger Cat Brandon Barlow. And on the Argos side of things, no sacks were recorded, so a stronger game from what has been a struggling offensive line with the Edmonton Elks in some games. Didn't struggle in this one. And there would be an defense. What?
I think you said offensive line.
I said offensive line. Their offensive line has struggled. The Edmonton Elks?
Oh, okay. I think you're saying in this game their defensive line struggled because no sacks.
Nope.
My bad.
No. What I'm saying is the Toronto Argonauts got no sacks. And so I'm saying the offensive line of the Edmonton Elks have done better. Because in a lot of games, they've given up numerous sacks. And even when they didn't, tons and tons of pressure. If they did give up pressure, it didn't show in Cody Fajardo's completion percentage. He was great. Winton McManus with the one pick for Toronto on Cody Fajardo there. And overall, 2 teams putting up a decent performance. Toronto, not the same team they used to be in these prior years. Edmonton Elks trying to string some wins together, get some fans in the building. I believe they had around 16,500 in for this game. Not the best attendance, but hopefully the main thing is getting those wins at home. even if you only got 16K in the building, get wins in front of them. If you want those crowds to come back, you got to start getting some wins at home. So it was good that Elks fans went home happy. Hopefully in the future that eventually translate to the attendance on the rise. I have more confidence in Larry Thompson to get that going than their prior management. Is there anything else you got for this game, Rick?
Not really.
Or shall we get to your game?
My game of atrocious BS? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so you had taken Ottawa. I took Winnipeg in the first game. We both took Edmonton in the second game. We both took Hamilton here, and the Saskatchewan Roughriders show why they are the first place team in the entire Canadian Football League with a 8-1 record.
Hold up. So, I will give credit where credit's due, and I will give Riders credit for their defensive line.
Okay.
If they did not put pressure on Bo as much as they did, this would have been a completely different game.
So yeah, because this is a rough game for Bo.
Yeah, because the defensive line put too much pressure on him.
Yep.
Also, the other thing I'm going to say, and Rider fans are going to hate me for this, your 8-1 record, or of however you want to put it, means jack shit.
Ooh.
Ask Argo fans. When they went 16-2, it meant nothing because they lost in the semifinals. So, the only thing that your record determines in the season is where you seed for the playoffs. That's it. And you ain't gonna go far if your kicker is Brett Lother, because this guy can't kick anything less than 40-yard field goal.
You know what he is? He's Sean White if Sean White didn't hit them all. Because Sean White will hit everything under 40. Brett Lother will hit a lot of things under 40, but not everything under 40. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie. That's rough. He hits a 59-yarder, but there's a lot of stuff he doesn't hit.
I mean,
as he would miss,
59.
He missed a 28-yarder. Because let's go over some of these, okay? He misses a 28-yarder. He misses a 42. And a few others. Those are the two I see that he grabbed singles on, though. I'm not going to lie. 28-yarder that he missed is fucking atrocious.
Okay. So,
do you want to know? Do you want to know how bad that is for reference, Rick?
What's that?
I own a little tee that you can set up for practicing field goals.
Yeah.
I have hit a 28-yard field goal. I have, personally, a man who doesn't kick field goals. Now, and I can actually say that. Now, am I saying I would have hit that? Probably not. It was nowhere near 100%. But the fact that I've done it does say something for a man like me who doesn't kick field goals.
Let's just put it this way. So he kicks a 59-yarder. The other one was a 14. Everything else he missed.
Yeah, no, it's
he
not
ain't gonna
good.
get you far in the playoffs. And I can tell you, I don't know what your guys' winters are like in Winnipeg. November.
I mean, you've probably
it's windy out there. He's fucked.
Oh, it gets so windy in the winter. It gets wind is actually what makes Winnipeg winters so brutal. In the sense of, because we don't get as much snow as you will over in Montreal, Buffalo, and whatnot. You guys will get a lot more snow. They'll get a lot more snow being near the water and whatnot. However, the dry, cold, windy winters is a Winnipeg winter. We live in the prairies. The wind picks up, it gets going, and we don't have any mountains to stop or slow it down. It just keeps picking up and going. So the cold, dry winter is a Winnipeg winter, and it can spell disaster for any football kicker who's not prepared for it. So
I will say this. I'm not going to throw any former Bombers under the bus that play for Hamilton. I will say this, though. When we had our season ticket holder autograph session the other day, a lot of them are glad they don't live in Winnipeg for that specific reason.
I understand that. As someone who lives here, it's not fun. The cold ass winter.
And they said that those.
If you ask me to name
boxes
pros
for
and
the
cons
cars
of
are
Winnipeg,
brutal.
that's not going to be a pro. What did you say? Sorry.
And they said that those heater boxes for your cars are brutal.
What do you mean
every
they're
car
brutal?
has to have. Well,
Oh yeah, you
they're
do.
like,
Yes, if you're gonna live here, you do need to have a block heater in your car. It is mandatory, 100%. No, that's true. Although to be fair, if you buy a vehicle here, it will almost 99% of the time already have one. It's if you're bringing a vehicle here that you already bought, it probably won't have that. But no, that's fair. I mean, as someone from Winnipeg who actually quite likes Winnipeg, it's not exactly a feature that's exactly getting people to come here. It's one of our downsides. That's true.
I will say though, even though Bo had a shit game, he's still in first in receiving. He's still in first in touchdowns. I mean,
I think this reflects more on the Saskatchewan Roughriders defensive line as well as the Ticats offensive line than it does on Bo. As I think I'll put it this way, I think you put any quarterback in this league under that kind of pressure, and they probably get similar numbers to Bo in this game. So
it is what it is.
Yep. The Ticats, though, it's funny. Still top of the East for them. So nothing too much at the end of the day. First in the league doesn't really matter from two standpoints. Number one, from a you're in the East, you just play the East, so it doesn't really matter in that sense. But also from you can go 16-2 and lose a game in the playoffs and be out. So it is what it is.
Season means nothing until playoffs begin. It's just deciding where you seed.
Yeah, I think the only thing that Saskatchewan can where I'm not going to say they want to lose, but like the only area where Saskatchewan may want to drop a game is in the sense of if your team is never, because this was the problem that Toronto had. If you never encounter adversity, if you never learn how to deal with adversity, setbacks, when you finally get those setbacks, you're kind of fucked if you don't know how to deal with them and you're going against a team who does. As I think that was one of the problems for the Alouettes in the year that they went on an incredible run and they lost to Toronto in the playoffs, was because they were so used to not losing and not being behind in games. When they were behind in a game, they didn't know what to do. The game plan was blown up. I love my Bombers, but their whole game plan is get ahead and then suffocate. So they've been on a bit of a self-discovery journey as of late, figuring out how to win games in other ways, and they've found ways to nearly blow them in other ways. So there's a lot of learning still to do over with my team, and so maybe Saskatchewan will have to go through it at some point, but it's not a problem they have yet. So 29-9 victory for the Riders. Shall we get into the last game of the week?
One thing that I want to mention before we move on to the next game.
Mm-hmm.
So, people don't realize what Labor Day is going to be like now, because you just woke a giant, and there's going to be a lot of pissed off people on that Ticat team come Labor Day. So that's going to be one nasty game come Labor Day.
Labor Day is going to be nuts as well over in Winnipeg, Saskatchewan. As again, the great thing about Labor Day is no matter where the Bombers are, no matter where the Riders are in the standings, it literally does not matter. Labor Day, whole other ball game. And so we'll see how that goes. Hey, there have been years where the Bombers have been absolutely dominating the West like crazy, and the Riders have been stinking it up near the bottom. And Labor Day comes, whether the Bombers win, whether the Bombers lose, it's a damn close game. And so, now that the situation is a little bit reversed, not in the Winnipeg at the bottom, but kind of in the murky middle, and Saskatchewan near the top right now, we'll have to see how that goes. So, shall we get into the last one here, Rick?
We shall.
As the BC Lions get a victory at home over the Montreal Alouettes by a score of 36-18. So both of us got this right, and so I go 3-1, you go 2-2. Yeah.
I would like to know what the F is going on in Montreal. Caleb Evans was supposed to start. I don't know if he got injured or whatnot. He went 3 for 4, and then he left, and James Morgan came in. Their 4th-string quarterback.
Yeah. And the ironic thing is that James Morgan wasn't that awful. Like, I mean, his passing percentage was like a little less than 66%, but he threw 1 touchdown, 1 interception, and a little over 200 yards. For a 4th-string quarterback, that's not actually that bad. But yeah, no, I was under the impression that Caleb Evans was supposed to be doing a lot of the work here. And Travis Tease, which I saw on the broadcast, they call him Tace, right? Or Taze, something like that, right? I don't think they call it Tease.
I have no idea.
I don't know. But anyways, Travis Taze, he was kind of one of the standout performers here. He had a decent performance here for the Alouettes. Yeah, 5.2 yards on average, only 26 rushing yards, but again, his average was above 5, so that's good. He had gotten 41 yards receiving. The broadcast team was talking about him quite a bit, and I think they view him as a guy with a lot of promise, so we'll have to see if there's more there. Maltos Diaz goes 4 for 5 on field goals. Darnell Sankey leading the charge defensively for the Alouettes with 10 tackles. There's a sack for Seontae Evans, as well as an interception. So very good game defensively for him. But this is where this just becomes a problem for the Alouettes. Is if we look at the line side of things, Nathan Rourke, 26 for 34, 382 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception. Nathan Rourke has cemented himself as the quarterback in BC in the sense, and the reason I'm saying this is that there were questions about it last year with his kind of performance, but with Buck Pierce, he's done a lot better, and Nathan Rourke has kind of gotten back to not quite his original form in BC, but a lot closer to that and where you would expect of a starting quarterback. James Butler, 81 rushing yards, 16 rushes for 5.1 on average. And then incredible performance by Keon Hatcher Sr. 156 receiving yards, 11 receptions, 2 touchdowns for him. There's a touchdown for McInnes, 1 for Stanley Berryhill III. They were just overall, the receiving corps was running on all cylinders here, and that was a complete problem for the Montreal Alouettes.
The interesting thing is what Montreal's going to do this week.
Yeah.
Because don't forget, they just signed Cameron Dukes, too.
Yeah, that's true. So, but that'll be in the preview, where we will go through that. Is there anything else you got, Rick, for this game? Sean White goes 3 for 3. Again, I already covered Maltos Diaz.
To be honest, I really didn't watch the last game at all much.
Yeah, I kind of just kept tabs on it, but Montreal only putting up points in the second and fourth quarter, nothing in the first and third. How many times have I said it? It's hard to win a football game if you only play half of it. So it is what it is, but the BC Lions stay at a 500 record, 5-5, at fourth place in the West, still in position for a crossover into the East. It'll all depend on if the Ottawa Redblacks get it going or if they don't. And so Winnipeg still holds the tiebreaker over BC. Same number of wins. Bombers with 1 less loss. They played 1 less game. So
you guys just better hope you guys win this week.
Yeah, no, that's always the hope, my friend.
Because, BC plays Toronto, so,
You never know. Toronto's been able to give a few teams a run for their money. They got a win against us.
Mind you, BC's never
They were able to put up 42 points against Ottawa. What did you say?
BC hasn't really had much luck in Toronto either. Because I remember 2 years ago when a friend of mine came down from Vancouver and we took him to the Toronto game and Vernon Adams threw 6 picks.
Oh, yeah. Alrighty. Is there anything else we got here?
This guy's yawning like it's late. But
fair enough.
No.
No? Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure you guys leave a like, share the video around, and subscribe if you haven't already. If you guys are listening to this on Spotify, make sure you guys give us 5 stars. We very much appreciate all of your guys' support. And without further ado, peace, love, and positivity to all you wonderful people at home, and we will see you guys next time.